MGMUA's Teachers stars Nick Nolte, Beth Williams, and Beth, darned if we're not in an actual high school classroom. Does it bring back memories?
It does. It smells like a school.
Yeah, there is a distinctive feel to it.
That chalk feeling.
I know. What kinds of memories does it bring back? Could we do a little comparisons here? Because you are an ex-student of JFK High, and you've come back to Roost to correct some problems. What about when you were a student? Any similarities?
Well, actually not a lot, because I mean, certainly there were similar problems. There are problems in being a teenager in any age,
there you go.
I think. But I was lucky, because even though I went to a big urban high school, it was not nearly as tough. It wasn't quite the war zone that,
and where was
JFK. It was in Houston, Texas, Jesse H. Jones High School. And we had our tough group of kids, and there were the occasional gang fights and that sort of thing. But for the most part, classes could actually go on, and I think we did actually receive an education. I did. I may not remember any of it, but I think I did learn things. I think now it's really frightening, what's happened in education, and I think that's what the movie deals with, and that's what makes it powerful.
Let's get into that too, because your character of Lisa will be like so many of the film's viewers, people who maybe were activists in the late 60s and early 70s, and well, some of us maybe sell out, some of us get comfortable, settle into a rut, but you come back to that high school because you've got a problem you're trying to investigate. Why don't you describe the situation?
Well, the situation is that I'm now a lawyer, and I'm representing a family whose son has graduated from my old high school, but he can't read or write. He's completely illiterate, and yet they've passed him through grade after grade and given him his diploma. So the parents are now suing the school. I come back to JFK High School in order to take depositions from the teachers who were his teachers, one of whom is Nick Nolte's character, who was my teacher when I was there, who was my mentor. His idealism was sort of passed on to me. So I come back to the high school expecting to have his full support. However, I find that he's changed, the school has changed, and he's not so willing to give me the support that I expect.
To a lesser or greater extent, Judd Hirsch and Nick Nolte have sold out or accommodated to the system. You have not, but you find out in your own law practice there's also the same kind of compromise going on.
Exactly. My character goes through a sort of a rude shock, because I have a sort of almost naive, idealistic approach that this case will be made public, that it will bring to light all the problems in education, and that these problems will be solved. However, I find out that the parents are willing to settle out of court for money.
Right. These kinds of compromises seem to point up maybe an idea about this film that's not immediately on the surface. Educational problems, okay, that's right up there at the top. But underneath all that, parents not caring about the kids, teachers finding it too easy not to care about the kids. What do you think about that? Are those problems out there? Might this film do some good?
Oh, I hope so. I mean, I absolutely believe that those are very real problems. First of all, just the sheer size of our educational system is so overwhelming. Yeah. When you're trying to get that many kids processed, and I mean processed, through school, it's very hard for each kid to feel he has individual attention. Teachers are underpaid and overworked. A lot of them stop teaching because they don't want to put up with what they have to put up with. I think it's really tragic, because the loss is in our future. Those children are our future, and they are not being educated. So hopefully the movie itself will create a dialogue. I don't think it solves any problems. I don't think it gives any easy answers, but at least people will look at the education system, will start to think about it, parents and children.
Finally, we grew up with Rock and Roll High School and a Blackboard Jungle, movies like this. This one's different, though, isn't it? It's
different because I think it has underneath a very serious message to it, and really tries to examine what the problems are from all points of view.
Beth, you are so hot right now. There's another picture coming out soon, American Dreamer. Different role for you.
Completely different. It's a wonderful old-fashioned romantic comedy, and I have the role I love, because I go from being a sort of housewife into a glamour queen.
Well, I've heard you say you like this role a lot.
I do. The clothes are great, but it's also fun. It's funny, but it's an adult comedy, and I think they're rare.
Beth Williams, she storms the world in American Dreamer in the hallways and teachers from MGMUA. This is John Tibbetts.